Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Behind me you can see this beautiful RoadGlide special. This thing belongs to a friend of mine, Tim, and it's here today for a 131 engine kit. It's already in there, as you can see, but obviously if you watch my channel, you know we're going to get it up on the bench and put the engine in it and get to work on it. So guys, this bike has a lot going on. I'm just going to try and run over it really quickly just to give you guys a bit of a look at what's going on here. So we'll just start from the start. We're running the clockwork screen. We'll move down to the front. We're running the Galfa rotors with the 21-inch knockout wheel from the CVO. We're also running the CVO chin spoiler on the front here. Of course, the 131 engine. We're running the S&S 1-inch plus filter. I think this one's called the Stealth, S&S Stealth filter with the plus one inch filter on there. Now this did have a D&D Bobcat 2-in-1, however we've changed that to this S&S Sidewinder, the 2-in-1 on here, just a little bit longer and it's a little bit quieter. So the D&D Bobcat was far too loud with the 131, so I'm not sure if I'll show that part of the video, like part of the build in the video. So I did actually build the bike with the D&D Bobcat on there originally. Tuned that up, and the thing made 150 horsepower and 147 foot-pounds, I believe, and which was great, but it was just far too loud when you were trying to ride it on the highway. So when Tim decided to do the build on this bike, he was humming and hawing a lot about what sort of cam to go with. So ultimately, in the end, he just said, you know what, Tommy, I'll leave it to you, mate, see what you can put in there that's going to tick the boxes for me. So he doesn't actually know what cam's in there. He's left it up to me, so I've decided on one. You guys are going to see that one throughout the build. So look, let's just get this thing together and ramp it up on the dyno and see how this new pipe goes. Alright guys, we've just got the camshaft pulled out. Now this is the CR517 that comes with this 131 kit. You guys know what I normally do with them, they normally go in the bin. But this is the camshaft I pulled out of it. This is the Cycle Rama 483. It's a great stage 2 camshaft for a lot of applications, and it will even do some big bore applications as well. But this is what we're going to use. Have a look at this thing. It is a monster. Look at those lobes. This thing is nearly square. Look at that. Compared to, if we just take a look at the profiles here, comparing them all up, like this thing is just gonna, look at that. That's just huge difference there. The thing is nearly square. So this is what we're using, Timmy. This is the Cycle Rama 540-2. Take a look at that thing. Can't wait to see how it goes. So let's get it in there and see what happens. always good to go through these and just give them a wipe out. I mean, they're pretty clean straight out of the box, but it always is just a really good idea to go through and clean out any debris that's in there. I mean, you can see it's pretty clean on the cotton rag there, but with a bit of paper towel. Normally anything that's going to be in there is going to show up on the paper towel. So yeah, always cleanliness is paramount when it comes to the engine builds. But you can see that's pretty well spotless now, so just making sure that's all clean and we'll be right to get these on. So this little air filter that's coming off is definitely not going to provide enough airflow. So to keep the same style air filter as we've got, we're just going up to this inch taller one. So hopefully this thing's going to flow enough air. It still might be a little bit small, but we're definitely going to give it a shot anyway and see how it goes. Okay guys, day 2 now. So I've got the engine completely together, as you can see here, and I've got the inch taller air filter on there. This thing looks actually looks a lot bigger than I think. Hopefully it's going to be big enough. It looks like it's going to be, but I've never used it, especially with one of these big greedy 131s. So we'll just see how this one goes on the dyno, guys. Got a few other little bits and pieces left to go yet. So just put the keyboard down. There is an upgraded compensator amp. I know I don't really show that in most of the videos, but apparently if I don't put it in the video, it's never in there. So I will show that one getting installed. So put the keyboard down, and the clutch springs are also getting upgraded as well. So I'm going to get this stuff done this morning, get all the pipe back on, of course all the chin spoiler and all the fairing and stuff going into the front of it there. So a little bit left to go on this, guys, before I get it warmed up and ultimately tuned up and on the dyno. So let's just keep going, get into it. Okay, so now we've got it out of there. The old ramp's here, new ramp's there. We're just going to take a look at our shim stack here and make sure we're just going to go through and wipe these down, clean them, check for any excessive you know, marks or rubbing or anything like that, any damage, that sort of thing. And then when we put this back together, we're going to lube this up nicely so it's all nice and lubricated so it can slide and do its job for the new ramp. So I'm just going to get this cleaned up and then we'll oil it all up and fit it back in. Okay, now for the bolt assembly, basically we want to clean all the old Loctite off, so you can do that either with on a wire wheel or something like that and clean that up. But then we want to use some high strength Loctite, and the torque procedure for this particular bike calls for 100 foot-pounds initially, backed off 360 degrees, and then cranked up to 175 foot-pounds. So the initial 100 foot-pounds is just to make sure it's crushed in there and seated, back it off, and then tension it right up to 175 foot-pounds. Alright, so with these upgraded clutch springs, basically these are just a heavier clutch spring. We're going to remove the three 10mm head bolts here, pull this plate off, and then the three springs are just in behind there, and then it's just a simple matter of putting them back in and tightening them up. So that's pretty easy. Now, there's probably going to be a lot of guys out there blowing up about this clutch. Look, I've built literally hundreds of these engines, and I've never had an issue with the basket at all. I always upgrade the clutch springs. Never have we ever seen a clutch fail. Drag racing, burnouts, wheelies, skids, you name it. I've pretty much done every combination. I've never seen one of these clutches fail. So look, that's up to you guys. If you want to spend the extra money for that added security, that's fine. But I've never ever seen one fail. So take that however you want, but that's just my opinion. There's no Loctite on these from factory, so you just want to nip them up pretty nicely. It's just like a massive spring washer on there. There's a lot of tension on this bolt, so there's no need to lock. There's none on there from factory, so they just get nipped back up, guys. Never go too silly with it because you will break them. Right, just want to address something with this primary chain tensioner. Again, there's probably guys out there that are not going to like this, but the manual adjustment, the manual adjuster ones out there, they adjust the chain in the tightest spot, and therefore you have a very loose spot in the chain, because you do have tight and loose spots in these chains, believe it or not. But this design from Harley is actually very, very clever. So it is spring loaded, as you can see. It ratchets up this ramp and holds tension on the chain. But the beauty of it, there's a little detent on it. So when it gets to a tight spot, it will actually press backwards and allows it to move. So it does have some movement on that. So if it is on the tightest spot, it can go back the other way. So it's a very, very good design. And again, guys, I have never seen one of these fail. Okay guys, let's take a look at the comparison here. So The red run there is, that's what we've just finished up tuning with the S&S Sidewinder. We're making 147 horsepower and 144 foot-pounds of torque. Now, the blue run here, this is with the D&D Bobcat. Now, it made 146 and 143. And you can see there is a fair bit of a difference through the start here. There's a little drop in the D&D, and there's a drop again in the D&D at the very sort of top end of it here. Much the same through the mid-range, but I did a run with the D&D Bobcat with the air filter off, and it made 150 horsepower and 146. So you can see there that it has, with the D&D Bobcat, it did make more power with the air filter off, because it was a little bit more hungry. That pipe, the D&D must have just helped it right at the top end there. That's where it made the 150. So where did it make that? 150 at, what, 6100 RPM. So you're not going to feel the 3 or 4 horsepower difference there, guys, but I'll just remove that one. The green one is with no air filter with the Bobcat. So these two here, the red one, air filter on, S&S Sidewinder 2-in-1, carries more torque early through the early on here at the bottom end, and much the same. There's a little dip there. We're talking a couple of foot-pounds between the two of them there, 136, 3 foot-pounds. It's bugger all, much the same. But then look at this difference here, guys, between the top of top of the top end there. You can definitely see there's a big difference here between pipes. So yeah, the longer pipe has definitely helped out. It's a win-win for Tim, because he did want the bike to be a fair bit quieter. The pipe definitely is loud under throttle, but just cruising along the pipe is much more easy on the ears, that's for sure. So the D&D Bobcat was just a little bit too loud. Yes, there is a big difference at the top end there, but the best thing you can see, it's made the torque earlier from the start. So really happy with this result. Alright guys, Tim's just got back from a ride, so we've done the pipe swap, we've retuned it. What do you think, Tim? Is it any better, mate, or is it?
Oh, well, obviously the sound is much more bearable. That D&D was, you need the earplugs inside the helmet to ride it. It was pretty shocking.
Pretty loud, yeah.
Yeah, and just that obnoxious Harley, you know,
yep.
That's what it was.
The neighbour haters.
Yeah. No, it's nice. It feels a little bit more responsive off the bottom too, like it sits back in the seat and lower RPMs.
That's what you're after too, yeah.
Just so much nicer when you're just sitting at 106. It's just, I can hear the stereo better.
Nice, that's what we want.
Perfect.
Guys, I'm really happy with this result, because Tim has wanted to quieten it down, and in doing so, he was actually a little bit worried, and he said to me, I don't want to chuck this pipe on there and ruin what you've done. I said, look, it is what it is, we'll just see what happens. So we've had a win, because it's literally picked up from the bottom, and even though it made this couple of numbers at the top difference, it's improved the bike dramatically, and it's done exactly what Tim wanted by quietening it down. So I'm really stoked. Tim's happy, and yeah, I'm just glad to get this thing done for him, because I know he's been wanting to get this thing done for a long time now, so it's really good to see it done. So thanks for watching this one, guys. I've got heaps more coming up, so hit all the bells, the subscribe button, all that sort of jazz, and I'll see you next time.